Now, before we get started with the show, like we always do, as you guys know, we are on a goal here to get to 20,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy content like this and you love daily Knick updates, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it could really support all of the great content that we're creating for you. It is always a good feeling beating the Brooklyn Nets. What I loved about tonight's game was it did not come down to the wire because we played defense, not for the entire 48 minutes. We will get to that, but we played defense. We passed the ball. We moved the ball. We moved ourselves, and good things happened. But more than anything else, one thing that you can credit this victory to was Wingstop. OG Anunoby went into demon time. He went off. He did whatever he wanted to do against the Nets. He was taking them apart and going in on them inside the paint. And Mikal Bridges, these last two games has been the Mikal Bridges we traded for. This is the Mikal we always wanted. Dominating inside. The mid-range is automatic, but the Knicks made sure to take care of business, take this game, and we got the victory. 2 W's. We are 1 victory away before I am happy to say 3 of those things. But we're going to break down tonight's game, exactly how the Knicks won this game, why the Nets made it so difficult for the Knicks to blow out the Nets during this game, and what the Knicks did so well as a team. And spoiler alert, they passed the ball extremely well. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. OG Anunoby destroys Brooklyn. The Knicks win 2 straight. It's been a while, guys, because I have been waiting for consistency from this team. And tonight, you saw what it could look like when things start to gel the right way. The ball movement was on par with some of the best ball movement I've seen from the Knicks all season long. They were moving themselves, moving the ball, and OG Anunoby was moving everywhere on the court. Defensively, he was shutting down Brooklyn at each and every turn. He was one of the main reasons that Brooklyn couldn't get any offense going. And there's a main reason for that. The Knicks had a game plan coming into tonight's game, and that was shut down Cam Thomas and make sure he couldn't get anything going. As soon as he touched the ball, he would either get double teamed or a heavy defender would be on him, draping over him, so he would never get an easy bucket. Even though OG Anunoby had such a great impact defensively, what he did on offense was absolutely incredible. The Knicks win this game in large part thanks to Wingstop 114 to 104. With OG Anunoby, if he's not faking you out with the 3, he is driving inside and making sure he's dunking the ball. Or better yet, he is cutting inside, getting the basket and dunking it home. I think he had about 3-4 dunks tonight. Can somebody tell the Brooklyn Nets that OG Anunoby's playing basketball, that he's on the floor, that somebody has to cover him? Because if they don't, he's going to run the entire court. And that's what he did. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, Wingstop tonight. OG, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 9 of 17 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point range. And then his partner in crime, Mikal Bridges, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 9 of 18 from the field, 3 of 10 from three-point range. So obviously he has to get better with the three-point shot. That's going to come in time, and when he gets more comfortable with this team, I'm not going to be worried about that at all. What I will say, though, is the first quarter, you saw a cat pass to OG Anunoby. That pass went above Cat's head, and it found OG Anunoby inside the paint. He was cutting, and he made that dunk, and that was basically future sight. It was foreshadowing what was to come. All night long, OG Anunoby was cutting. He was hitting mid-range shots. He was hitting three-point shots. He was making it difficult for the defense to even understand what he was doing. If he doesn't have a shot, what he's going to do is he's going to take the ball outside, pass the ball, and then make himself open for another play. That's what he did in the third quarter with Karl-Anthony Towns. Those two, the way they've been finding each other, the way they've been playing off each other, it's been amazing basketball to watch. But Wingstop is cooking tonight. He was 9 for 18. Now, listen, I know for Mikal Bridges, we think to ourselves, 9 for 18. Maybe that doesn't matter. For a player like Mikal Bridges, who has been struggling with his shot, it absolutely does. The three-point shot will get better. I feel like it will get cleaned up. But everything Mikal Bridges was doing tonight is the Mikal Bridges I want to see each and every single night. They were giving you the defense that you wanted. They were giving you the cutting that you wanted. Inside the paint, if Mikal Bridges catches that ball, he is automatic. He is not missing. That's how good he's been. Not only because of the way he was playing on defense, but he was so aggressive with his shot. Each and every time he caught the ball, he was making a quick decision. And sometimes that quick decision led him inside the paint. And that helped us so often because the defense was waiting for Towns to do something or for Jalen to do something. When Wingstop is cooking and it takes the pressure off of our stars, our team is even more unstoppable. Now, I talked about Wingstop. I talked about OG Anunoby and how badly he dominated the Nets, what he was doing on the defensive end and the offensive end, all the cutting, all the rotations, all the switching, making sure Cam Thomas had the hardest time playing basketball. Mikal Bridges, same exact thing, making it hard on each and every defender he was covering, making sure shots were hard to come by. And when he got the ball, he was being aggressive. The Knicks tonight, the reason we won this game, the reason that it wasn't as close as the last game was, is because the Knicks were moving the ball, they were moving themselves, and they were making sure that they were finding the open man or the open cutter. They were not trying to settle for any type of shots. I felt like the first game against Brooklyn, they were settling for a lot of the threes. This time around, they took what the offense was giving them. And Brooklyn, their defense isn't anything great, although every time they play the Knicks, as do most teams, even bad teams, it's like the defense of those teams gets a little bit better because they know they're playing the Knicks. And the Knicks are a championship contender. So when you think about that and you think about why teams would play the Knicks so hard or so aggressively on defense, you have to remember that. Teams want to play the Knicks. They wake up for these games because they know if they beat the Knicks, everybody in the NBA is going to be talking about it because the Knicks are the hottest thing going right now. That's why teams want to get up for these games, even bad teams. Credit to Brooklyn. They were playing defense. They were trying to do everything in their power to get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands. That's why when I show you the next few stats here, not only from Jalen, but from Cat, you'll understand why Brooklyn was doing what they were doing on the defensive side of the ball. Let's take a look at what our stars were doing tonight. Shout out to New York Basketball on the app X for giving us the following information. You know I got to give credit to them. They always hook us up with all of this data. Jalen Brunson tonight as the Knicks give Brooklyn 2 L's. We got Jalen Brunson with 12 points, 10 assists, and 2 steals. Now, I know a lot of people are going to kill Jalen Brunson, obviously because of the efficiency, obviously because his shot really just hasn't been there. But can we talk about this for a second? Because I feel like it's going to not be talked about. All a season long, Jalen Brunson has been dealing with double teams. And I'm not talking about double teams that start once he gets into the paint. Now, as soon as he catches the ball, they're double teaming Brunson. You don't believe me? Look at the game tonight. Cam Thomas, or what's the young kid's name off the bench? I forget his name. Zaire Williams. There we go. One of those two were draped over Jalen Brunson at all times. The height difference, the size difference. They were trying to get that ball out of Brunson's hands because they knew if they allowed Brunson to cook, he would cook. What did Brunson do last time? Oh, yeah, he cooked Brooklyn. That's why Brooklyn basically did the exact same thing that we did to Cam Thomas. We froze out Cam Thomas, and they essentially froze out Jalen Brunson. But you can only freeze out Jalen for so much. You're not going to stop Jalen Brunson. Jalen's just too good. Even though he didn't have the scoring touch that we needed him to have, what he was doing was passing that ball. And the biggest credit I'll give to him is what he was doing out of the double teams. Every time he was getting doubled, he would either get credited with the hockey assist or he would pass the ball to an open player in the corner or to an open cutter, and we would get that basket to go. That level of IQ is improving for Jalen. It's also improving for Karl-Anthony Towns. Each and every time he's doubled, he's finding somebody else. Found OG, found Mikal. He's finding a lot of plays either when they're cutting or they're open in the corner. And I love to see that. We're not forcing it. We're not forcing the offense when we're double teamed and we have a hard shot. Sometimes if the shot clock is going down, we have to do that. Or if the Nets are playing good defense, we're going to have to take even though Karl-Anthony Towns, we can talk about his line. Let's pull it up here. Karl-Anthony Towns tonight, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 of 16 from the field. Listen, Karl-Anthony Towns had himself a monster game tonight, and it would have been even better had he not been in foul trouble. And that's been the biggest issue with Karl-Anthony Towns. Honestly, if we want to talk about this seriously, what Karl-Anthony Towns is doing on the offensive side of the ball, joining a new team, still working on chemistry, is absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible. What he's doing on the offensive side, mid-range shot, driving inside, taking contact, free throws, three-point shot. Towns is doing everything. Everything you would want a center to do on offense, Towns is doing on offense. There is really no complaint. I have no complaint for Towns on the offensive side of the ball. The only issue I will always have with Towns, at least for right now, is on the defensive side of the ball. But I will give him credit tonight because it's something that he needs. Defensively tonight, it was a very good effort from Towns. And he always does that. Towns is not a bad defender. I want to make that clear. He's a different defender. He's not a defender we're used to having inside because we're used to seeing Mitchell Robinson inside. We're used to seeing Isaiah Hartenstein inside. We're not used to seeing Towns inside. Even though he gives that defensive effort, you can see other players still go at him. They still attack him. They still try to get a basket over him, euro around him, try to make a basket or a cut around him. The reason they do that is because they know they can do that. Towns does not create or impose that fear into opposing players right now. Not the way that even Ariel Hukporti does. Definitely not the way that Mitchell Robinson does. One thing we have to mention about Towns is he did go down tonight with a really bad fall. If you saw, I believe it was in the third quarter, probably ending the third quarter there. He went down with a fall. That's when he was holding his lower back. Did not look good. He came up clutching it. He stayed in the game. I don't know why he stayed in the game. I would have not kept him in the game because during that third quarter, the Knicks scored 35 points. 35 points in the third quarter. We were up about, I believe, 15, but obviously Brooklyn fought back. They came back. They made it a close game. So obviously you needed to have Towns back in the game, but I might have rested him just a little bit, just given the way the injury looked. Towns, again, amazing on offense, giving his best effort on defense, but clearly it's different. The Knicks need to adjust what they're doing interior in terms of the defense inside, because if we fix the paint defense and we're able to defend the perimeter just a little bit better, we're going to be one of the best teams in the league. Even if we fix the perimeter defense and keep the paint defense the same, we'll be probably one of the best teams in the league. That's how bad our perimeter defense is. The other player we have to talk about, though, is, you know who it is. Josh Hart in this game was absolutely phenomenal, guys. I mean, just incredible. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 of 13 from the field. I mean, Josh Hart was incredible. And if you were wondering, when Jalen Brunson is struggling, and you're wondering why we have the record we have, or why we're winning games, or why we're even scoring inside the paint, it's in large part due to Josh Hart and what he means to this team. We cannot take that lightly. You know, we can scour the league right now and look for players who have that type of stat line. I would guarantee that maybe the star players in the league have that stat line. Not a role player like Josh Hart. Josh Hart, if he is a role player, is a top-tier role player. He is the role player that every single team wants their hands on. 28-8. And we didn't even notice it really because we were paying attention to Wingstop. We were paying attention to Karl-Anthony Towns. Paying attention to all of these other players while Josh Hart is quietly getting 28-8, supporting this team, helping us win games, and making sure that each and every night he leaves everything on the floor. I have no complaints for Josh Hart, and I don't think I ever will. Defensively as well, too. Can we talk about that? Because defensively, Josh Hart was absolutely amazing for this team. Another thing we have to talk about, though, guys, is the minutes distribution tonight. But as you see here with the Knicks wings tonight, Mikal Bridges, 44 minutes, played the entire second half. Josh Hart, 46 minutes, played the entire second half. OG Anunoby, 40 minutes. This is absolutely Thibs ball. We know it's Tom Thibodeau ball. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We can understand that. We're not complaining. I'm definitely not going to complain about it. I understand when you win the game and sometimes the game is close, you're going to have to play your key players a lot of minutes. However, playing Mikal, who is Iron Man, and Josh Hart, who played a lot of minutes for us last season, while I understand wanting to keep them in the game because of their impact, what they mean to the game, what they mean for us and our team, we played them the entire second half. Injuries can happen at any time at all. I understand wanting to win the game and wanting to win the game at all costs. But if you want to win the game, then the only thing that you can do here is you have to make sure you play your players the right way. We are seeing that Tom Thibodeau is actually going to his bench, even if it's just a little bit, and utilizing them a little bit more in terms of the minutes. So that way the starters don't have to play heavy minutes. But he's not doing it enough. We need him to go to other players on the bench. Huck Porty should have definitely played some minutes tonight. Tyler Kolek should have definitely played some minutes tonight. Expand the rotation. Give your starters some time to rest. And that way, maybe we don't have tired legs going into the fourth. Yeah, we're going to go to the shot chart right now and also go to the game stats as well, too, here. Because like we always do, guys, we go to the game stats and the shot chart normally after each and every game just to get a breakdown of what the Knicks did well, what the Knicks did not do well, and what the Knicks could do just a little bit better during the course of each and every game. Now, the Knicks, again, offensively, 48.9% from the field. So in the mid-range on offense, the Knicks are still a very good team. They're still shooting the ball very well. And the offense is going to get better as the chemistry improves. 3-point percentage, though, for New York is still pretty bad. 32.5% for the Knicks. In comparison, 41.5% for the Brooklyn Nets. If you want to know why the game was even close, why the Nets were coming back into that game in the fourth quarter, but why the Knicks ultimately won that game and built back up their lead, it's because the Nets were trying to hit the three-point shot, and they were hitting the three-point shot. New York still has a perimeter defense problem. Even though we pack the paint and we protect the paint as best as we can with the personnel that we have, our perimeter defense is still pretty poor. I'll give credit, though, to Pacome Dadier and Mikal Bridges. I thought their perimeter defense tonight was very good. And on some occasions, I'll give the credit as well, too, to OG Anunoby. But for the most part, our perimeter defense is pretty bad. 41.5% from three and 42.1% from the field. They nearly shot the same percent from three that they were shooting from the field. That's a problem. The reason that is because most of the three-point shots that they were taking, they were open. The Knicks and what they did well again, 33 assists. 33 assists to 31 assists for the Brooklyn Nets. The Knicks were passing the ball, and that's another reason that they won. Another reason why the Nets were so close in this game is because we allowed them to be. We allowed them to go to the line and shoot so many free throws. They did it by attacking inside and getting to the line and shooting those free throws. Credit to them. They made them. But we're allowing them to do that by playing defense with our hands, making sure we're reaching in, tapping them on their wrist, not playing defense the right way. And we're getting caught, we're getting the whistle, and they're going to the line. We have to be better with that. If we clean up what we're doing there and fix the three-point defense, we're going to be a better team just by default. Just by doing those two things, we're a better team. And that's the only two things we would have to do just to be from here to here. Let the defense and the offense start coming together and gel. As soon as it happens, nobody's stopping the Knicks. The only team that can really stop us at that point is ourselves. And under head coach Tom Thibodeau, that's not going to happen. But what about you guys? What did you think about today's episode? And did you enjoy the game against the Nets? Did you like what the Knicks did against the Nets? Did you like the way we were leading in that third quarter? What were some of your favorite moments from tonight's game? What didn't you like? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for today's episode. And if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick friends, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.